What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Trey, and welcome back to the Bat Channel, your main hub for all things Batman.
Question. How do we call him? He gave us a signal.
We have a good show for you guys today. The Bat Channel is going to do its first ever comic book rating review, which means at the end of every comic book episode, after we finished reviewing it, we are going to rate that comic on a scale from 1 through 10, 10 being the best. Full disclosure, we'll probably never hit that 10 mark just because if I read a comic that's better than that one, I'm not going to be able to really grade it fairly. And if I rate a comic that's 5 and higher, that means it's definitely worth going to your local comic book shop, like my boys at Hall of Justice Comics and Collectibles. Shout out to my boy John and Dom. If it's rated 5 and higher, definitely go out and get a physical copy of that comic because it's definitely worth the read. And basically what I'm looking for, how I'm going to rate that comic is, how well is the cover art? How well is the artwork throughout the story? How well is the story in the dialogue? You know, is it important to the overall story arc like City of Bane and Joker War that we're into right now? So that's the kind of things I'm looking for. A basic overall rating to see, is it worth getting? Is it worth the read? How important is it? And we'll kind of, go through there. Before we begin, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you guys so much for your support, and let's just get to it. The Joker War Part 4 continues in Batman issue 98, written by James Tynion, and the artwork is by Jorge Jimenez. The main cover is done by David Finch, which, super talented, always loved David Finch's artwork. And of course, once again, the variant is by Francisco Mattina. These covers have been phenomenal for Joker War. Like, come on, the David Finch one is so solid. I love, Batman jumping above, Punchline and Harley Quinn having this crazy battle, the lightning strike. I mean, that's just a cool cover. And then Francisco Martinez with that crazy, it's really creepy looking with Punchline's face like turning into the Joker's. Oh, Francisco is going to nail it. So Batman issue 98 starts off with a game of chess between Riddler and Scarecrow, and Dr. Jonathan Crane, as Enigma is planning his next move, is taunting him. And as you would expect, villains, peace doesn't last long between them. It breaks into a fight. Riddler flips a table in frustration. And we learn that Penguin and Catwoman are present. And of course, Penguin's like wondering if anyone put money down on Riddler getting frustrated and flipping a table. Pretty funny scene. Kind of reminds me of something like in Rat Race.
Okay, 3,000 is the quote. Who had 3,000?
Carlton had 2,800. He's the closest.
Catwoman is feeling really guilty about the part she played in Joker's War. She is the reason why the Clown Prince of Crime was able to steal Bruce Wayne's fortune and fund his army and the toxin that's taking over the entire city. She knows Gotham City needs its Dark Knight, but the Bat is missing. Now we cut to a scene to Bruce Wayne, and if you don't recall from issue 97, Bruce is currently under the influence of that new Punchline toxin that's really messing him up after he escaped to Monarch Theater and was rescued by Harley Quinn. She gave him this medicine tea that's making him trip out even harder than before. So Bruce is hallucinating where he's working in the Batcave on a Batarang for his utility belt, and of course Alfred appears with some concern, and Bruce, has this really interesting optimism where he says each compartment on his utility belt has the capability of saving one life. But Alfred tells Bruce, you're not seeing the whole picture. Meanwhile, Harley is supervising Batman's trip, and it's this really great little comedic scene where Batman's mumbling, his hallucinations out loud.
I hope I didn't say that out loud just now.
Harley may have gotten into more than she bargained for, because look out, here comes Punchline with a flamethrower in Ivy's Eden. It's about to get lit, folks. Before we get to that epic showdown, we go back to Bruce's hallucination. Alfred is working on making this tea that he used to give Bruce when he could sense that he was really struggling and deep down frightened about a case that he couldn't solve. And it was Alfred's silent way of telling Bruce everything was going to be okay. And I guess after Alfred was murdered and passed away, Bruce tried to make it a month after, and it didn't have the same taste and didn't bring him the same comfort. Granted, he probably never makes his own tea anyways, but hey, it's all good.
Perhaps you should start learning to make your own bed.
Bruce is on edge. Joker is using his family's fortune to take everything from him, to bring the downfall of Gotham City, killing thousands after they watched the same film that Bruce had watched with his family that fateful night that made Batman. Alfred explains this yin and yang relationship between Joker and Batman, something we kind of already knew, right? They are polar opposites. While the calm Prince of Crime views him and Batman as the only two people really alive in this world, he constantly mocks and jokes about Batman's mission. There is no difference to the Joker in taking one life or millions, but there is to the Dark Knight.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. You truly are incorruptible, aren't you? Huh? You won't kill me out of some misplaced sense of self-righteousness. And I won't kill you because you're just too much fun. I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
We go back to Punchline as the fight heats up and she ignites her flamethrower, and Harley is having a heck of a time trying to keep Batman out of harm's way while taking on her replacement. It's the epic showdown that we've been waiting for since Punchline's first appearance in Batman issue 89, I want to say.
Something tells me a whole lot of people are about to die.
Segue back to Alfred and Bruce. Alfred proclaims Batman as a child's dream, while powerful and beautiful dream of a boy who promises to save everyone from the darkness that he found himself on that night of his parents' murder. It's a weight no one should have to carry, and that any typical person would buckle and be crushed under. Since Alfred's death, Bruce has been pushing away those closest to him and also trying to honor the memory of the man who raised him, Alfred, by building this bright new Gotham. But it allowed the devil in. Just as Bruce believes he has failed.
Oh, Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Alfred asserts to Bruce, you are Batman. You need to accept the world you live in and what you can control. While he didn't and cannot save some, he can still save himself. And every life he saves is a victory against death itself. Alfred wants him to let go of the weight and the guilt. Find family and love. Do what must be done. And be the impossible man who can save all the families on their way home from the theater. Bruce responds that he knows when he wakes, his mind will be intact, and he is afraid that he will no longer hear his loyal butler's voice, and that he is unsure that he can't do it without him. But Alfred reassures him, as he always does, right? That Bruce already knows in his mind and in his heart, in any circumstance, what type of guidance Alfred would tell Bruce in that moment. A light begins to engulf Alfred with his final words, "So wake up, my boy. Tell the city who you are." Whew. That's a powerful scene.
That sounds emotionally supportive. Lock that down.
The Dark Knight rises to Punchline's surprise. She is in disbelief that he can overcome her new toxin. But we all know.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Batman is able to apprehend Punchline, and Harley Quinn just wants to, be sure that his mind is clear. So she asks him, "Hey, is the place on fire?" Which Batman confirms, yeah, it's on fire. I'm good. He needs to reactivate his communication system, but Quinn reminds him that he fried his circuits during his escape at Monarch Theater, which, come on. Don't underestimate Batman and his trusty utility belt. He pulls out a battery. Get it? Get it? Battery? You get it, right? I'm not the only one who chuckled at that. Batman is back online, and he calls for the location of his Bat family because he's gonna need them all. We end issue 98 with Catwoman recruiting the Riddler and Penguin, and of course they're reluctant to attempt any type of heroics during the Joker War, but Cat's proposal is just too good to pass up on. How would you like to become a billionaire?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
The Joker War Part 5 continues in Batman issue 99, subtitled The Final Signal. This comic was awesome. Jorge Jimenez's artwork was great throughout. The main covers by David Finch and the variant cover by Francisco Matino was fantastic as always. We finally got that awesome showdown between Harley Quinn and Punchline with a little comedic spice thrown on it, which is always good. A few little laughs. We really dove in deeper into the character's psyche with some good development there with that emotional scene with Alfred. This comic was just solid throughout, and really James Tynion's run of Joker War has been fantastic. So for our first ever The Bat Channel comic book rating, I'm gonna give it 7.5. I may be a little bit generous, Corey. 7.5. That's what we're going with. Fantastic comic. Definitely worth going out and getting at your local comic book shop. You can use my guys at Hall of Justice Comics and Collectibles. They do a live stream sale Mondays and Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Give a shout out to the Bat Channel. I'm usually on. I'll say hi to you guys. Phenomenal. This was a great comic. I can't wait to see where Joker War continues from here and all the collateral damage tie-ins that they've been doing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share with your fellow Bat family, and definitely hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Hi everyone, here Batman. This message is to tell you that you should subscribe to the Bat channel, the best YouTube channel about everything related to Batman and DC multiverse. Don't fall on the anti-life formula and subscribe now. Batman out.